Now, Palestinian officials have condemned US Republican presidential hopeful Newt Gingrich's statement that labels Palestinians, quote, invented people.
It is also obvious that he needs history courses to know that the Palestinian nation exists before even the American nation itself.
In an interview released by the Jewish channel, Gingrich said the Palestinians don't deserve a state. A Hamas spokesman called Gingrich's statements shameful and disgraceful. A Palestinian legislator has described Gingrich's comments as, quote, a cheap way to win the pro-Israel vote. Joining me from Lafayette, Los Angeles is Hisham Talawi to tell us more about these latest statements by Gingrich. Welcome to the program. So, Mr. Hisham Talawi, what repercussions would his remarks have on his candidacy?
Well, the only repercussions it will have on his candidacy that he might receive some money and hopefully some votes that he's hoping from the pro-Israel lobby here, which, you know, he's trying to get. Of course, any president for the United States or a congressman, they understand that without pleasing the Zionists in Palestine, they cannot win. That's why we see all our presidents going and praying to the wall and wearing the skull cap and catering to the Jewish money. And also what Gingrich is doing, he's trying to get the votes of the evangelicals, who are basically those people who believe, and there's quite a bit of them here. I mean, he's not just after the Jewish vote, he's also after the Christian right vote, which there's millions of them who think that what is going on in Palestine is biblical prophecy. So he's catering to those people. He knows what history is. And as a matter of fact, today on my radio program, that was the subject that we discussed. And we had showed an interview with Shlomo Sand, who actually proved that the Jewish people of today they are the ones who were invented by the Zionists in the last 100 years, even though Palestinians have been in Palestine for thousands of years. I mean, when Abraham moved from Iraq to Palestine, he did not go to an empty land. He went to a land that was populated by people. And let's not forget that Jericho is the first city-state in the world. So he knows history is not on his side, but statements like that do get him a little bit of money from the Jewish lobbyists and also probably votes from the Christian right in this country.
And of course, I mean, how much does the Israeli lobby have influence on U.S. presidential candidates and elected presidents in general?
Well, it's not in general, it's in specific. You will not be the president or even a congressman in the United States unless you have been approved by AIPAC. AIPAC is the American Israel Public Affairs Committee. They are the ones who very much decides what candidates, and it doesn't matter to them if they are Republicans or Democrats. Normally they do basically support both candidates, and whoever wins. Now, they do understand. You have to understand one thing here in the United States. People in the United States do not elect their officials. You know, it's a fake democracy when people think that in the United States we have a democracy. We do not have a democracy. We have a government that money, it's the best government that money can buy. If you have money and you are willing to actually support politicians, you will own these politicians. And all of the American politicians and American presidents, they are all owned by these Zionists who will line up their pockets with money. And that's how democracy in the United States works. The people go to the polls to basically put a stamp on what the Zionists have already selected for the people, and that's how the democracy in the United States works. So Gingrich knows exactly what he needs to do to basically cater for the Jewish and the Israelis so he can be looked upon in a favorite way. Now, there is one candidate on the Republican side, which is Ron Paul. Ron Paul was excluded from the Republican Jewish coalition, which they had their presidential candidates night a few nights ago. Ron Paul was the only one who was not invited to that basically to that event, because Ron Paul's stance on Israel is very much pro-American, because he does not, what Ron Paul represents, he represents true Americans, while all of these presidential candidates present basically Zionist America. And that's why these people know who's in control.
Right.
So to answer your question, they are in full control of the American politicians.
Indeed. All right, we'll leave it there. Hisham Talawi, host of Current Issues TV and Radio from Lafayette, Los Angeles. Many thanks for your thoughts there, sir.